Do you want ideas for using the cut-aparts that you find in 6x6 paper pads? Hi, I'm Jess from JessCrafts.com, and I'm here to help you make the most of your crafty supplies and time. So let's get making. Today I have these cut-aparts that I found in a Carta 6x6 paper pad, and usually if it's in one paper pad from a line, it's in many different ones. So if you don't have this specific Christmas one, you might check your other Carta or Echo Park, because they are owned together, paper pad lines, and see if you have some similar cut-aparts. So basically there are some 3x4 cut-aparts and some 2x2 cut-aparts. And this particular pattern paper pack had 4 sheets like that. So I thought if I come up with an idea for that, it would really benefit me because I would be able to make multiples. So I have these sketches, and these sketches may look familiar because I do have similar sketches that you can create from one sheet of 6x6 paper, but because I want to use each and every cut apart, I have kind of mixed it up a bit. So I'm going to show you how to cut the cut apart sheet, which is fairly obvious. You're just going to cut it into its 2x2s and 3x4s. Then you cut a second piece of paper into some 2x2s and some 1.5x2s. And so this is a printable available at JessCrafts.com. There will be a link in the video description to the blog post where you can pick that up. So I'm going to follow these cutting instructions exactly, and then it shows me the sketch and the measurements for the background papers or mats, cardstock mats that I'll use. I have 4 papers with cut aparts and then 4 coordinating papers. For my coordinating papers, I picked something that was relatively simple, and I tried to avoid any papers in the pack that had, there's other cut aparts like these 3x3s, so I might come up with another idea for them. And I went with ones that were pretty Christmassy. I went with papers that were distinctly Christmassy because most of my cut aparts are pretty Christmassy. So I would save things like the more plain snowflakes for a time that I want to make winter cards. So with these Carta papers, they actually are a little bit bigger than 6x6 inches because they have that little like strip at the top for you to hang off of, and you know, when you display them in the store. And I do find that sometimes when you're working with cut aparts, they're not exact. Like you can see this is actually like 1/8 of an inch smaller than 4 inches. It usually doesn't wind up being a big deal. But if you're really like to be very, very precise with your mats, you may want to cut your mats to a slightly different size. This is just due to like printing variance. So here again, about 1/8 of an inch smaller than 3 inches, and you can account for that in your mats if you'd like. One of the reasons I created this template is so you can make cards with your cut aparts without leaving any scraps. But to cut things apart and not leave anything, you actually are getting like these tiny little bits and that kind of thing, but I don't consider that scraps. I am talking about like larger pieces. So I'm gonna keep cutting these ones just like that. But then let's talk about the measurements for the second set because you have a little bit more control there. So if you see if I cut it exactly on the 6, some of that little hole in the top is still left over. So you may need to trim it down just a bit more. And that's where all like, you know, everything has a little bit of variance with crafting, because like, oh, are you going to cut right down the middle of the 6-inch line on the other end, on the, you know what I mean? I try not to stress too much about being super exact all of the time, as it often doesn't particularly matter. Okay, so I'm cutting 2x6-inch strips. So I have 3 of those. These are all 2x6 inches. I'm going to take 2 of them and cut them down to 2x2 squares, and that'll be used for sketch A. And you'll see it actually says on here, and I'll try to have it focus, it'll be like cut a 2x2, it's for sketch A, here's sketch A, same thing on the first paper. So I tried to label everything really, really clearly. And then this other one, instead of being 2x2 squares, I'm gonna cut at 1.5 each time and make 4 1.5-inch pieces. And I'll do that with all 4 of my coordinating pieces of pattern paper. So in the end, this set of sketches will make 3 cards with the squares and then 2 cards with the 3x4s, which is you know, is easy to understand when you look at the cut apart sheet because you're making one card for each of them. So there's 5 cards in all, but it might be something worth noting so you don't forget how many like mats you're going to need. So if you make 3 cards with the squares, you need 3 mats for each. That's 9 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 mats. And then you're going to need 2 sets of mats for this other sketch. And I'm going to use craft cardstock for my mats today. I think it works well for Christmas, and I don't have to overthink it because some of these are green at the edge, like the Santa and this one here. And some of them are red, like this pattern paper, or like this cut apart here. And so if I picked red or green, it could be kind of problematic. Even something, I do see an issue though. Here, this one that says Christmas Cheer is very close to craft. So I might mix it up just for that single one, but I find picking a neutral really helps me to work a bit more quickly and not have to keep thinking about my decision each time I go to cut mats for a specific card, and I can cut mats for the whole collection. This paper pad was actually sent to me by 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop. They just reached out and said, would you like to try a few of our products? No obligation or anything like that. They didn't ask me to make a video, but I was like, well, you know, it's good to know about the different shops that are out there for me personally, but also to let you guys know if, you know, they have good shipping and things like that. And their package was beautifully wrapped. I did a little YouTube short and a little Instagram reel about it. And they also have these embellishments that I'm going to pull out later that are kind of fun to work with. So as I said, the 3x4 card was a little bit less than 3x4. So since I cut my mat to exactly 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, you can see that it's like a little uneven. It looks a little bit less so on this one, so it kind of might just be like how you position it or whatever, but I want to show you how I would assemble just one card of each, because like I said, each one of these sets of paper is going to make 5. I have 4 sets of paper. I'm going to make a lot of cards, but they're going to be the same thing over and over again. So I have the 3x4 card, and then I have my mats for these other strips that go behind it. Now, most of this strip is actually going to be hidden. So I did give you good specific measurements to use for the strips. And you're going to actually, instead of putting an equal mat on all sides, like this is a 1/4 inch around each side, these ones you're actually just going to put the, according to the sketch, you can totally put the 1/4 inch all the way around. I'm going to call for you to just place it on the sides. So that's what the mat measurements reflect. But even if you cut the mat sizes as specified, you can do the 1/4 inch, and I'll show you what I mean by that. When I do my A2 size card and I place these, there actually is going to be so much of it covered up that if you pulled the paper down in either direction, it's all still going to be covered up. So there's a little bit of like waste, I guess, behind there. But you know, there's so many times in my card making where if I wanted to put a strip behind something, I used an entire strip. Here, I was able to make the illusion of an entire strip simply by using these 2 chunks of paper. And that helps you to get a little bit more of a full looking card. Now, if you are looking at this card design and you are thinking, you know, I like the idea of how to use my cut aparts, but these card designs have a lot of white space. That's certainly true about both of the designs that I'm showing today, because as you can see, there's, you know, a fair amount around the edges. I have a video where I share ideas for what to do to cover that white space if that's not so much your jam. Now, you probably are thinking, I have a lot of cardstock scraps as well in this process, and there's no pattern paper scraps. I'm big about no pattern paper scraps because that's what drives me crazy personally. Like, I am much more likely to be stressed out by a bunch of pattern paper scraps. So, the cardstock scraps, though, there's so many things you can use them for. You can use them on your next card because you're going to pull craft paper back out for some future occasion without a doubt. But also you can place them behind your elements to make everything nice and smooth on a card, so I can fill in this gap with them. I can die cut a sentiment. Yeah, there's just kind of like the possibilities for cardstock scraps, it's easier for me to imagine personally. And I know I repeat myself in a lot of videos, but I never know when a video is someone's first video. So thank you to all the people who watch my videos regularly and put up with me giving the same tip and trick 1,000 million times. Okay, so then I have these cut aparts as well. I'll pick the Merry Christmas one for now because then it'll be really easy. I'll have a sentiment. I don't think you have to put a sentiment on every single card, but you absolutely can. So if you look at the, say, cookie sheet here and you're like, I could, you know, it could use a sentiment, totally go and add one. Maybe use like those sentiment strips that are out there with like pre-printed sentiment strips from like Paper Rose and Simon Says Stamp, and all kinds of people have them now. I saw a new company the other day and I was like, ooh, I wonder what their sentiments say. And I was like, no, you have too many of them. Plus you have all of your sentiment stamps. You don't need to do that. But they do make for super quick cards. And I do have some Christmas ones from Paper Rose that maybe I will pull out, but I definitely don't think you need them. And then this particular sketch, and the sketch is off to the side here, and you can totally have it off to the side when you're creating because, you, like I said, you can print it. I usually find that my sketches, when I print them in black and white, they're also quite readable. So even though I print them in color because I happen to have a color printer, don't think you need that by any means. I try to really make them as friendly for as many people as possible. So I'm going to take my two coordinating pieces and they're going to go in the background. So kind of these two, and then the one that's on top of everything is going to be my cut apart so that it's nice and readable. And again, if you want, this is that place to pull in that scrap so that the part that's hanging off the edge of the other two is propped up and, you know, looks nice and smooth and even. And again, you can, in the white space in the background, you could be pulling in an embossing folder, a splatter. I have like 5 different ideas in a video in case you're looking for what to do. And then basically, you'll repeat that process until you have, for each set of 2 papers, 3 of these and 2 of these, or 5 cards in all. 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop also sent me one of their little gem packs. And I don't necessarily use a lot of gems, but I did want to give it a try, and I appreciated they sent me their white, because if I was going to get gems, I like to get something, or, you know, like little plastic embellishments like this. I do prefer to get something that is super usable. And I can take something like a white and I can color it in with Copics or something like that to change the color, but they do have them available in a lot of colors. And it came with this like little, it almost looks like a colored pencil. I actually don't know, maybe it is just a colored pencil, but it has, the colored pencils are often made with wax, and this is kind of like a sticky enough tip that you can just go in and pick up a little embellishment. So I thought that was, it comes in this little plastic container, and each of the sizes are in its own little thing, so you don't have to lift up everything, because I find I'm a lot more likely to spill, or if I did have an accident and spilled it all over my desk, at least I would just be cleaning up the one size and not resorting them. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I think that at the very least I'm going to add these teeny tiny gems here to the snowflakes on this one, and I'm going to find some different areas to add a little bit of embellishment. Like this one here has these berries, so I could add in a few berries, but first I can take my Copic and color these and then glue them on, or maybe glue them on and then color them. You probably want to wait for it to dry. But yeah, so I just thought I would share that cool little embellishment set, because I hadn't seen something quite like it yet. I will admit I'm not, you know, always the most knowledgeable about those kind of embellishments, but I thought it was a pretty cool set. So there'll be a link to 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop in case you want to see some of the cool stuff. They have a lot of 12 by 12 cardstock, shimmer and no mess glitter, and vellum. 12 by 12 vellum apparently is kind of hard to find, and so they have it there. And if you're, if you like the larger size, definitely worth checking them out. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with a share to your crafty community, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links. See you in the next video!